Exclusives are what define a console. At least that's how it used to be back in the day when owning a console was about the games. Nintendo seems to be the only ones upholding that tradition of having games be their selling point, while Sony and Xbox, on the other hand, are focused more on cloud gaming being the future. And well, it might maybe sometimes hit 60 frames per second. While Xbox is over here chasing after the success of the Google Stadia, and Sony's over here remastering games that are barely old enough to tie their own shoes, Nintendo just flew past them like Captain Falcon running on hardware that struggles to play SpongeBob. Looking back on gaming history, I can't remember Power ever contributing to console sales. Even when Sega was saying, "You see, the reason Sonic runs so fast is because our system runs on blast processing." It was never really about the power of these consoles, because Sonic and Mario were always at the forefront. Even the PlayStation 2 garnered most of its sales because it was just a cheaper alternative to owning a standard DVD player. Nintendo knows this, and that's why they've relied on their games and gimmicks to sell their hardware, which in some cases ends up causing major innovations within the gaming landscape. I mean, imagine how insane the Nintendo DS was back in the day, considering that it released before the first touchscreen phone. That's why I don't understand why Sony and Microsoft are in this arms race to be the first companies to put a nuclear reactor in their consoles. Because of this, graphics and fidelity end up having to be maxed out to the smallest of increments. And I don't know about you, but I don't think an 8-year-long development cycle is worth it just to see peach fuzz on a character's ass cheeks. We're looking at a future when consoles get 1 or 2 big game releases each cycle, and that's bad. Say what you want about Nintendo, God knows I have, but one thing you can't deny is Nintendo's consistency, and their Disney-like lineup of characters. Sony is kind of catching up with Astrobot, but Xbox is still completely clueless. In case you still don't understand Xbox, it's the fucking mascots! I don't understand. We already had this shit figured out all the way throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Game Pass and cloud gaming is never gonna define Xbox. All you have to do is release a commercial of Banjo saying to Sony, "Go fuck yourself," and people will be lined up for days to buy your consoles. Just don't use Crash Bandicoot, that might rub people the wrong way. It really sucks being a console owner and knowing that you could have just gotten a PC and had better versions of all these games. Just give me one single person that says that Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be a better experience on console than PC. It's not happening. And if you're just dead set on owning a home console, you're better off buying a PlayStation 5 because you'll not only be able to play PlayStation games on it, but Xbox games as well. You know, Phil, you're right. People just love seeing your games on other platforms, especially when they know their games aren't coming to your platform. I can definitely see why a lot of people think that once Xbox leaves the console race that Valve will swoop in and take its place. Valve is the gold standard when it comes to incredible value. Owning a Steam Deck is kind of like dating a fat chick. At first you wish you had something a little bit smaller, and it's kind of awkward to take out in public with you, but once you spend enough time with it, you fall head over heels with just how much it over-delivers. And I can't believe I just made that analogy in 2024. Well, the comment section is gonna have fun with this one. When it comes to PlayStation, at least they're worth poking fun at for not having any games. The Xbox might not have any exclusives, but at least Sony has the occasional scraps in between all the PS4 remasters. Astrobot is probably the funnest looking game that I've seen from PlayStation in years. I haven't been a PlayStation owner since the PS2, and in recent years I haven't really been excited for Daddy Kratos to tuck me in and tell me a bedtime story. Ever since they've leaned more and more into this story-heavy cinematic type of games, I've been pushed away further from buying their consoles. But I'm not gonna lie, when I seen Sony's new Astrobot game, for a moment there I wondered, what would it be like to own a PlayStation again? And then I snapped back to reality. You see, for every game they bring over to PC, I have to subtract from their exclusives. And Spider-Man 2 might be a pretty good indicator of Sony's future. Because if they don't announce a Spider-Man 3 soon, I can almost guarantee you that they're gonna start releasing all their games day one on PC. They're almost too predictable at this point. Oh hey, Final Fantasy VII's on PC! Oh hey, Rebirth's coming to PS5! Oh hey, God of War 2018's on PC now! And God of War Ragnarok's coming to PS5! Oh hey, Ghost of Tsushima is on PC now! It sure would be strange if they announced a new— God damn it! Plus, they weren't really winning me over during the PS5 Pro presentation. It was abysmal, it felt disingenuous, and that price point was absurd. After seeing the games that they were showcasing, I didn't even want to buy a base PlayStation 5. If anything, they're convincing people to go and buy a PlayStation 4 because that's about all the damn games they showed off. A lot of people call this console generation disappointing, and I strongly disagree with that. You see, the last console generation was disappointing. This generation is pathetic. Back to the Xbox, even if we did have exclusives, what did we get from them? Redfall was a disaster. Halo Infinite launched unfinished, barely got any updates and couldn't keep players' attention. Starfield was basically the cure for insomnia with how much it put me to sleep. I spent more time loading into the game than actually playing the game. I've heard that the DLC felt like kind of a cash grab because it didn't have enough content. I wouldn't really know, but I'm not about to spend my money and find out. And Forza Horizon 5? IGN gave this game a 10 out of 10. As a fan of the series, I can tell you they are full of shit. This game is clearly a downgrade from Forza Horizon 4. As a racing fan in general, this might sound like a hot take, but I feel like the series hasn't been good since the first game. Ever since then, they've been ruining any sense of reward by botching the progression system more and more with each iteration. And to top it all off, the only truly great game to come out of Xbox's acquisition so far is Hi-Fi Rush. And we all know how Xbox rewards their successful new IPs. Now, I'm not saying that owning one of these consoles is a bad experience. Far from it. What I'm saying is that there isn't enough reason to own one of these consoles. Sure, there's games that I play on my Xbox when I know my Steam Deck can't handle them and because my computer is complete trash. Seriously, you can't hear it now, but this thing sounds like it's ready to catch fire just trying to edit this video. So if you end up seeing a long gap in between my uploads, you know the reason why. If you want to know my personal opinion, I really don't like exclusives. I think it's anti-consumer to have an expensive plastic box as a paywall in front of a game you want to play. Plus, if a console ends up being a flop like, say, the Wii U, then you can only sell as many copies of that game as the amount of people who bought those consoles to play them on. But this video isn't about ethics. So in order to justify a console's existence, there needs to be a line that we draw with exclusivity. As much as I want to play the new Astro Bot game, I don't think it should come to PC. And for Xbox to acquire all these studios just to sit there and do nothing with them is absurd. But I won't dance around the topic, I know what it really is. They're trying to break into the mobile gaming market. It's kinda obvious at this point with them going multi-platform, pushing their subscription service, leaning heavily into cloud gaming. But newsflash, people aren't going to want to play AAA games on their cell phones. And the constant need for a stable internet connection doesn't really translate well with twitchy first-person shooters now, does it? Like I said before, Nintendo basically steamrolled Sony and Xbox this generation, and it's pretty clear to see why that is. Earlier, I said that power has never contributed to console sales in any meaningful way. People never used to think about frame rates, ray tracing, and resolution and all that. We've been trained to view these consoles in the same way we view a PC, and because of that, these companies make that their sales pitch. The one thing that they forgot about is making video games for these expensive bricks. Also, Sony, what's up with this Spider-Man 2 bullshit? We've made it very clear. We want Bloodborne on PC. Not Spider-Man, Bloodborne.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here.
Check it out. What do you think about that?